Hello, it is I, Alex, the Euro expert. I am on my own channel today, which will get far less views, but hopefully it grows. I'm here to answer some of your interesting questions. I'm going to try and do this semi-regularly before I do this once and never do it again. But force me to do it again and send me the questions every week and I'll be answering some. I've selected a few out from Twitter. There were some good questions in, thanks to the people who sent them in. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to get straight into them. Gabe has asked, who do you think are the most realistic best transfer targets for Chelsea this summer? Now, Chelsea, they've got a bit of a bloated squad, and just for transparency, I've done no preparation here. You're getting the raw Alex. There's no Euro experts, Euro vibes. Yeah, with Chelsea, they've got a really bloated squad. I don't think they need much surgery. Obviously, there's a lot of talk of Erling Haaland, which isn't out of the realms of possibility. You know, it's not too. I can sort of believe it, but I don't. I personally think that Timo Werner, even though he's had a bit of a bad season, he's underperformed XG by a lot. Timo Werner's a good enough striker, and I think he's just had a horrific problem in confidence. So the next season, I think it's going to be a reset button for him, and you should see him start to score a lot of goals because he's proven himself useful. If anything, I think Chelsea just need to keep up their depth more than anything. They've clearly got a great defence. They've got a fantastic midfield. Maybe they just need a reinforcement there. Maybe a Boubacar Kamara or someone who can sit in midfield and drop into defence. And maybe if Tammy and Giroud leave, then you probably want another backup striker. Because what's winning Chelsea at the moment is the versatility, the wealth of attacking options, which you can't keep together long. So Chelsea need to try and keep them together for another season, and potentially they can go for a title push. Mona has asked, big fan Mona, big fan, what is the best way to use stats in football in player comparisons and progress? There we go, I had to read for one word. Thanks for your question, Mona. I like this question because it's a bit different. What is the best way to use stats? And in my opinion, I think everyone is misusing it in some ways. That includes the big guys at Football Daily, who I'm a massive fan of. Stats need to be used. Good start, Alex. But stats need to be used more, in my opinion. I like the graphic popping up in Sky Sports, but we don't see any pundits quoting stats. It's always, it gave you a lot of intensity, you know, it gave you a lot of work rate, yeah, show good tenacity. I want to hear commentators and pundits. I want to hear Joe Cole start, I almost said Joe Owen there, shout out Joe Owen. I want to hear these pundits talk about key passes, progressions, etc. I want them to incorporate data into their arguments, because it's important too, because it supports your argument, it shows you've done the research, and it shows you're basing your argument in facts rather than just your opinion, which if your argument is just your opinion, then it means nothing, whoever you are. On the flip side, most casuals struggle to understand stats. It's not that they reject it, it's just they get annoyed when people list them off with no context. Let me give you an example. What do you think sounds better? Eden Hazard has completed 73% of 6.2 dribbles per 90 this season for Chelsea. That is the most in the Chelsea squad. Or there's only one player who's completed more dribbles per 90 in the Premier League than Eden Hazard, and that is Alain Saint-Maximin. Aside from that, Hazard has completed 6.2 dribbles per game, which is astronomically high, and his success rate is about 63%, which is pretty high too. For context, someone like Lionel Messi completes about 55% of his dribbles. As you can see, one of them is a lot better because you're comparing it and you're using context in your argument. And with that, I think it's the best way to use it because it's the best way to engage people. It's the best way to get fans and pundits and casuals looking into stats themselves so they can make their own arguments. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. I think it's always important to keep them simple too. We should, unless we're having detailed discussions, we should stay away from things like non-penalty expected goals. Expected goals on its own is great, but we need to take things one step at a time rather than showering out all of these technical terms that, let's be honest, most people don't understand. Just a last bit to add on to this question as well. Someone who could use these is that Jacet guy on Twitter, the Football Scout. He ranks players on potential. What he does He says they're from this country, they've done this, they've done that, they've done that. Not even that, they play this position, they play for this team. And their potential is 8 out of 10. And he's never given potential out of 5, like below a 6 out of 10. Why? Because why would he fucking tweet it? Yes guys, this is the new player I'm tweeting on my Twitter account. His name is Tyrone Mings, and his potential is, I would say, about 3 out of 10. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, Reece James has asked, who is better? Or sorry, who is clear? Reece James or Trent Alexander-Arnold? Yeah. Like I said, I've not done preparation for this, so I should use statistics in this. However, I'm wearing a cool t-shirt. I'm not the Euro expert right now. I'm Alex, so I'm going to give you my base thoughts, because I'm sure if you tuned in for a massive statistical, breakdown, then I'll probably do that at some point in a more serious show. This is me putting my feet up and just chilling out with you guys. Trent Alexander-Arnold is great because he can move into midfield, and I think in Liverpool's system he plays a big role there. And creatively, I think he's a bit more free than Reece James. Reece James is much more of a complete winger, one going forward, like at least crossing wise, and even then his crosses feel kind of the same. They're always from the corner of the box, always chipped into the back post. I would say Trent Alexander-Arnold, but as a right back, I think Reece James has more potential just because of his physicality. Whereas Trent, I think, could have a good career a bit further in midfield because it's basically where he plays anyway in Liverpool's system, or at least where he did play in the 1920 campaign. Sam has asked me, who are the top 10 players in La Liga? We're going to go through them quickly. We're going Lionel Messi, Frenkie de Jong, Karim Benzema, Vinicius Jr. These are in order to make it interesting. Clement Longley, Gerard Moreno, we're up to 6. João Felix. I can't change the order now. I'm sorry, bad Chelsea takes. I can't change the order. Felix is at 7th. Suarez at 8th. Oblak at 9th. Courtois. No, he's a prick. Ter Stegen at 10th. Ter Stegen at 10th. There you go, Sam. I hope I gave you a great answer. Now we're moving into the end of the video, but with 3 questions left, we're going to merge 2 of those into one, because CSC Lucifer has asked, are you really unbiased that you don't support a team? You've got to have some soft spot. And Hudson Creator asked me, what team do I support? He thinks it's Lille. Now this is a question I get every single bloody stream, tweet, everything. The soft spot for Lille, I think, is there at the moment, but that's because I'm a glory hunter and I'm loving the fact they're winning Liga. But yeah, I have soft spots for players and mostly managers like Tuchel, like Pochettino, like Bielsa. I have soft spots for teams like I really like Leeds, and I love Lille. I have a soft spot for Galtier too. Big fan of Renato Sanchez and Boubacar Kamara at Marseille. But I'm really not much of a fan of a specific team, so I can't claim to be a fan of a team that you support because it's unfair. It's unfair in a way. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I've just not got enough love for a specific team to say I am a fan of that team. And with the final question from Ladimus Prime, very nice guy, shout out to him. What made me fall in love with football? Probably FIFA 05. As an earliest football memory I have been taken to a football game by my father. I went to a Bolton Wanderers game when I was very, very, very young, and I went to a few, and I think it was just ingrained in me, Ladimus, to be a football fan. And then I played in goal in football, very much loved it, and yeah, that's how I fell in love with football. If you can call it falling in love. I haven't really fallen in love with it. It's 2 sets of teams kicking a football around a pitch to get like 90 grand a minute. I wouldn't say falling in love. I'd say moderately enjoy it. Anyway, that's the light-hearted end of this video. Bye.